It's the Kyle Hyman Show on Redeemer Radio.
Thanks to EWTN and different Catholic TV programs, I was able to learn much about my faith because a lot of questions arose.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Flavor of the Week, brought to you by Banditos, fresh, made daily. In Flavor of the Week, Kyle sits down with one of our local priests to sample variations of a favorite food or drink while they discuss the ins and outs of life as a priest.
Welcome to Flavor of the Week, Part 1 with Father Jose Arroyo.
Yes.
How'd I do?
Great, that's fine. I have more names. I have more names.
I know.
You can't. It's like Jose Emanuel Arroyo Acevedo. So it's just too much. But you did.
How many people do the full?
No, just me.
Okay.
In the airport.
Do they say in the airport?
No, well, they have to see that all my names are right. You know, they're fine. You know, the ID is fine. So yeah, my passport, same thing. But
yeah,
no, everyone at home they just call me Joseito. It's Jose. So,
but because is there Jose?
Joseito is
like a little.
Ito
Jose.
means little, and it also is an endearing term. So it's like Bobby. You know, it's
all
not
right,
like
all right.
Bobby necessarily is tiny.
Right.
It could be big, but it's Bobby because you know you love.
But it's
him.
not because you're a junior. You're not a Jose Junior.
Actually, I am. My dad is Jose.
There you go.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. So you had mentioned for your flavor to do yogurt.
Yes.
Are you a big yogurt eater?
I love yogurt.
I do too.
Yeah, you do?
Yeah.
I mean I like all sorts of flavors.
Okay.
I really don't have a particular. I mean, I love when it has fruits and not yogurt that's plain necessarily.
Yeah.
But I do like vanilla and strawberry and
okay, well, good.
All this.
Because I got 4 different yogurts and I got fruit flavored yogurts. I didn't get any plain or
excellent, good.
But I thought we could do a little bit of an experiment with the cheap ones and the expensive ones, and then different flavors. So,
all right,
this is a blueberry.
Oh,
I got a raspberry. There is, so I got a blueberry and a raspberry for me too. So we can just, this is a cheap strawberry.
Okay.
And then a more expensive strawberry.
Okay.
So we can see like maybe if there's a big difference there, you're like, oh yeah, it's definitely worth the money. Or no, they taste the same. You just get the cheap stuff. So I don't know which one you want to start with as we talk about your vocational journey.
Well, let's do one of the expensive one, the better ones.
Oh, you're going to start with the better ones. Okay. Go ahead. Grab one and I'll follow suit.
This was...
Okay.
Raspberry.
So raspberry is a Greek yogurt.
Yes.
Do you like that?
That means it's good.
That means it's good.
It's great.
Greek is so much thicker, right?
Yes.
All right.
All right.
How many days a week do you have some yogurt?
I try to have it like a couple of days a week.
A couple days a week?
Yeah.
Oh, you're stirring yours. That's probably a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
This is blended already, but...
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Do you prefer blended versus fruit on the bottom?
I like it blended.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew a guy who just liked the yogurt itself and left the bottom. Didn't like it because it was too sugar. I'm like, that's the whole point. Like, it's
just get plain then.
I guess. Yeah. Really good. It's filling.
Yeah, I feel like
for breakfast, I don't have a lot.
I feel like there's danger with starting with the good stuff and working our way down.
Well,
but it's very creamy.
Mm-hmm. Very rich.
You ever put anything in it, like a granola?
Oh yeah, granola. Mm-hmm. Cereal, like Cheerios or something.
Mm-hmm. So, Father Jose.
Yeah.
You're not from around here.
I am not. I'm very far away.
Yeah. Do you miss home?
I do. I love going back and spending time with my family. By the way, my home is Puerto Rico. Well, that's where my parents are. That's where I was raised. Although I lived in East Coast for a time because my dad was in the military, so U.S. military, the Navy. I've come to appreciate wherever I'm at as becomes home in a sense. So I'm adaptable. But home is home. My parents, I love being with my grandmother, my brothers, my siblings. So
And they're all back in Puerto Rico.
most of them are in Puerto Rico and others are in the East Coast.
Okay.
But yeah.
So how often do you make it back?
I try to go twice a year, like
Okay.
in the summer and in the winter. The winter is my favorite, so I can escape the
Because it's warm there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like 7. It may drop down to 60 degrees,
Oh
but,
my.
but most of the time it's like 75. Or
How hot
80.
does it get in the summer though?
Oh, it gets up to like 90,
Okay.
90s, but
That's not bad.
yeah. But this summer it was hot. It was brutal. There were heat waves. Apparently, it got up to like 110, which is not normal.
Oh wow.
No, but yeah.
So when you were growing up, did you think you were going to be a priest?
When I was about 9 years old, my mom asked me if I wanted to be a priest.
Really?
When I was in the catechesis program, the CCD, but I said absolutely not. I said no. And my dad said, "Why? Do you want to get married, have a family?" I said, "Yeah." I don't know how I knew that priests were celibate, but somehow I knew, and I'm like, no, that's not for me. And then I didn't grow up in a very, church-going family. Like they would more or less go to church on Sundays. We try, like my parents would go every now and then, take us, but they're not married in the church. They didn't receive the sacrament, so. It wasn't until I was like 15 when I moved back to Puerto Rico and I was actually able to appreciate, like have a real relationship with the Lord and appreciate the church more, that I was open to whatever God wanted, except I didn't want to be a priest.
So you weren't going to mass every Sunday necessarily?
Not when I was a child, yeah. We tried. I think my parents tried. We were all baptized. We were all in catechesis. We all had to be altar servers. I would say 85% of the time we would go. I'm not saying that we were all like we're pagans or something like that, but yeah, it wasn't like definitely like every Sunday. So I was at 15. I started to take my spiritual life more seriously.
Why?
I had good friends who were into the church, although not all of my friends were Catholic, and I just saw the connection between their beliefs and their life, how they lived, and I'm like, yeah, I want to live a good Christian life as a Catholic and be joyful as well, and I don't think that it should be disconnected. I don't think it should be divorced. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to learn my intellectually my faith through EWTN, through different, just getting involved in my parish community, learning through my pastor, the religious sisters. We had 3 convents in my parish. So I just learned so much from them, things that my parents couldn't teach me. Then from there on, I was open to whatever God wanted. And then eventually some seminarians came to visit our parish and left some material to pray for priestly vocations. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's like Boy Scouts for priests. These seminarians, they're in high school. They're high school seminarians, which the seminary doesn't exist anymore, the high school program. But either way, I was willing to go, but then my mom's like, nope, you shouldn't go yet. You're in high school still. And I had to wait a couple of years. So,
do you think that was wise of her, or do you think that kind of held you back a little bit?
Well, I think it was wise in the sense that, I was, on my end, I was excited. But, parents see things from a different perspective. And I think she wanted me to have a normal experience with the rest of the high school students. Mind you that she's a teacher and so is my dad now. I think that it was good for my maturity. And eventually the seminary had to close because of some scams, some things that happened. So if I would have gone, I would have experienced or saw whatever bad things.
Right.
But somehow the Lord in his mercy and his providence allowed me not to go at that point, but later on.
So when you said not all of these friends were Catholic that were kind of inspiring you, maybe challenging you, making you think about taking things more seriously, are you saying that some of these were Protestant Christians that you saw their act of faith and thought, man, I need to be taking this more seriously?
Yes. One of them is my good friend Omaira. She's evangelical. She has always been, but very respectful to me as a Catholic. And I would go on Fridays, for instance, to visit their church. And sometimes my friends would invite me to go on retreats. So, a young person invites another young person. It seems exciting. It's different than an older person inviting. So I think that missionary aspect of their evangelization efforts, I thought was very important. And then I really learned about prayer and fasting, about scriptures. But then obviously, thanks to EWTN and the different Catholic network TV programs, I was able to learn much about my faith because a lot of questions arose and I needed answers. And eventually I realized, well, I have the fullness of the truth. I have the scriptures, but I also have the magisterium, I have the sacred tradition. I don't have to leave the communion of the church to be in communion with God.
Did you think about that for a while of
Never
converting or leaving the church?
Never, ever. I just thought I was going to be Catholic and evangelical at the same time. So I guess you could be an evangelical Catholic.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I love St. Francis of Assisi because he took the gospel very seriously. Of course, the friars and Mother Angelica being a Port Clare and the Franciscan missionaries of the Eternal Word, the Franciscans. So I kind of had already, just in my experience of watching TV and all that, St. Francis and that Franciscan zeal to evangelize through, different means. So that helped a lot, So Francis was very inspirational and just, he wasn't a monk. He wasn't a regular lay person, but he just wanted to live the gospel in poverty, chastity, and obedience. And it was very radical in his days. And I think is still inspirational the Pope took his name.
Right.
The biggest proof,
And you spent quite a bit of time with Franciscans, a couple different Franciscan orders, but decided to become a diocesan priest for the Fort Wayne South Bend Diocese, not a diocesan priest in Puerto Rico, not a Franciscan. How much, I know that you spent a lot of time thinking about being a Franciscan.
Sure.
How much time do you think about being a priest in Puerto Rico?
Well, every time I visit Puerto Rico, they always want to fish me. It's like the bishops are like fishers of men,
Yeah, right.
Definitely there's a huge need in Puerto Rico, especially where I was raised. So the desire in my heart, I would love to help. They were 3.5 years without a bishop. Their former bishop was made bishop somewhere else, and he was still the apostolic administrator. So that was a big deal. It's like, imagine a parish without a pastor for 3.5 years. So I think that there's a great need over there. I guess I was looking for stability at this point, and I needed something that was more concrete. I don't know. Fort Wayne South Bend was already home to me in the sense that I was living here with the Franciscans. Most people know I lived in Huntington at St. Felix Catholic Center, what is St. Felix now, Catholic Center. And I lived there for 9 months, and then I lived in Mishawaka, right next to Marion High School for 3 months. And I knew Fort Wayne, and the bishop knew me. The most important element, I think, was that the bishop gave me the opportunity to finish my studies for the diocese, and he knows my personal charisms, he knows my desires, and I live one day at a time, and this is where the church needs me at this time. The church is universal, so.
Right. Yeah. You kind of mentioned a little bit about the area that you were from in Puerto Rico being especially needing of priests.
Oh, yes.
What was the environment that you grew up in? What was the big city?
No, it's really
village.
It's a small town, very small. Right now, the diocese has only 21 parishes. When I grew up, my parish was the last parish of the Archdiocese of San Juan. And then as I visit back, it's now a new diocese. It's called Fajardo Humacao. It has 2 names, just like we have 2 names, Fort Wayne, South Bend, 2 different towns. And it's poor. There are a lot of sects, a lot of Protestants. They have Mormons, Jehovah's Witness. It was where the U.S. military was as well. There's a beautiful rainforest in the center of the diocese, and the beautiful east. We have the coast, Atlantic Ocean in the northern part, and then getting closer to the Caribbean towards the south. But it runs like a horseshoe towards the east coast, and they have 2 different islands called Vieques and Culebra, and they're part of Puerto Rico and part of the U.S. and part of the diocese. And it's a big challenge. It's poor. It has few Catholics. I would say 33% of the population is Catholic. I'll bet now it's even less. And they didn't have a bishop. So imagine the Catholics that remain Catholic are amazing. They deserve the best because honestly, they've held to the faith. They're strong in their faith.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot to talk to you about. Different things that you're involved with, jail ministry, missionary work, the school here, but also your TikTok fame. Everybody wants to hear about
I don't think is
how
that.
you got into TikTok.
Mhm.
But also, I think just the idea of how to evangelize through these different mediums like TikTok, is this something that we should be on, spending time on, consuming versus creating? There's a lot to talk about.
Sure.
Also, more yogurts to try. So what do you give this Greek yogurt here?
A+.
The raspberry.
Amazing.
A+?
Yeah.
Okay. It's hard to go up from there, right?
Yeah. But it's okay. It's all right. We'll taste the other ones. It's
Okay. Well, we'll try more flavors and hear more from Father Jose on Flavor of the Week, brought to you in part by Banditos. For show notes on this episode and to find more shows, visit kylehyman.com. And until next time, remember to leave room for the Holy Spirit.